And welcome back to The Factor Uncensored. There's a growing movement to help speed up the retirement process. It's called the FIRE movement, and many people have heard of it. And according to our next guest, it's possible depending on your financial strategy. And joining us on The Factor Uncensored tonight, we have with us Professor John Lopez from the University of Houston. Professor Lopez, what we have seen now recently is something called the FIRE movement, where a lot of people have been calling it quits from their 9 to 5, enjoying the fruits of their labor. For those who are wondering what the FIRE movement is and what it stands for, and if they're ready for it, tell us about that.
Hi, Isaiah. Glad to be with you. Yeah, that's a great question. So FIRE stands for Financial Independence, Retire Early. And the idea is amassing enough assets, that those assets are throwing off enough income that you do not have to go to work for a living. You've got enough assets that it's going to last you for the rest of your life. And that is the trick. So what is that number? How do you figure out, is that a 1 million, a 2 million, a 6 million number? That's always been the challenge. So a couple of things there. If you, as an example, reach that number at age 40, assuming a average life expectancy, that number has to last you for 30 years, 35 years. And what is the income that you need every year for 35 years to be able to be successful in doing that? So those are the challenges that people have with the FIRE movement. Is what is the number? And that results with how long are you going to live? How long are you and what is the income level that you need to live the lifestyle that you want to live?
And that's the big question. If you're a full-time employee right now getting benefits, you have to decide at that point, can I continue on my own with what I have amassed and what I've saved? And it typically, Professor, wouldn't just be in like a high-yield savings account. It would go into stocks and bonds, I would assume, where it could pay you monthly dividends, right?
Yes, you'd have to create some kind of an income stream from that nest egg. And high yield savings accounts are probably right now going to pay you in the neighborhood of 3%, 3.5% on the bundle. Probably not enough to really give you the kind of retirement income that you need. You also have issues with inflation. So for sure, it's mutual funds and stocks, some kind of growth assets are important. It could be that you have some kind of a situation where you have some real estate investments where you can actually bring in some income from those investments in rental properties and such. So those are the kind of things that you look at. One other thing that's important to consider is, what are you going to do? You're 40 years old, you got 30 years of life. What are you going to do? Right?
I would say chill and relax, right?
Well, that's good for about 2 weeks, and then it's like,
well,
okay,
yeah.
How often can you fish? How often can you golf? If you're traveling, that's all good. So we see that a lot of folks that get to a situation like, oh, I'm retired. Oh my gosh, every day's a Saturday. Now what? So figuring that out is part of the whole equation.
And if you have more time on your hand, I would think, and you're trying to find things to do that are interesting to you, then you start spending more.
Correct.
You start traveling more. And
Correct.
so the amount that you have prepared for, it may increase and it may throw you out of whack with that FIRE movement and the retirement income and the dividend that you may have coming in monthly.
That's correct. You're outspending your resources, the cash flow that's coming in. So yeah, while the financial independence, retire early, the FIRE movement is a goal to reach financial independence. You have to consider the facts of, again, how long am I going to live? What's the amount that's coming in? And can I live comfortably on that amount?
Now, don't go anywhere. We'll continue this discussion after the break and show you how to retire early, or if it's the choice you really want to make. You're watching The Factor Uncensored. And welcome back to The Factor Uncensored. We're continuing to learn more about the FIRE movement, short for Financial Independence, Retire Early. We get back to Professor Lopez from the University of Houston. What would be the first step you would advise them to take to be a part of this FIRE movement?
Well, the first thing I would do is I would try to figure out what's the number that I need. And the way to do that is working with a financial planner, a certified financial planner that can figure out what is that number. And they will run some analytics. They'll ask you questions about what might your expenditures might be, and they'll figure out a way to kind of help you get there. And so you can get a certified financial planner professional to give you what that number is, and that's kind of what we do in the profession. Is ultimately everything around financial planning and the things that financial planners work on is figuring out what that number is for clients, because clients ultimately want to be able to be financially independent. That may come at 50, 55, 60. It may never come, right? So it depends on the situation. So that's the first thing I would do is I would talk to a financial professional and have a conversation about, okay, what's the process of me doing this? How do I make this happen?
And when we talk about having that revenue stream, once you have saved, say, a million, $2 million, and you want to have that revenue stream, where are you putting that money specifically, and what types of accounts that are out there where you can get those monthly dividends and those monthly payments back to survive off of?
Sure, exactly. That's a great question. So let's say we're at the 2 million number. Okay. You got $2 million. And so you're going to have to put some of that aside for quick access. So maybe you take 25% of that and put it in some kind of short-term high yield savings account. The rest of it, you put it into some kind of growth accounts, maybe a mutual fund with high dividend paying stocks that you're generating some income from the dividends. And you're also taking advantage of beating inflation as those stocks grow. So some kind of combination of the portfolio that allocates immediate needs. I need to have money to pay utilities, pay mortgage, maybe some travel expenses, whatever you decided you want. And then some money that's going to grow from the growth factor that's going to keep that money extended for the rest of my life.
And for those who may consider this, Professor, obviously you're saying look at your lifestyle, determine if you want to be retired this early and what you will do with your future and your remaining time on this earth.
Yeah, no, exactly. No, it's exactly right. It's not just about the money. I mean, I know a lot of people that bring in a lot of money and are doing nothing and are miserable because they don't have some kind of purpose. So you have to find out what that next chapter is. It may be volunteering, community service, maybe a small consulting job, something that gives you purpose, something that gives you the want to get out of bed because I'm excited to do this, not for the paycheck, but just for the emotional well-being.